Organizing and Staffing. Objectives. To introduce the meaning of organizing. Present the characteristics of organizing. Discuss the nature and purpose of organizing. Present the principles of organization. Understand departmentation. Discuss types of organization. Understand span of control. Present delegation of authority. Introduce MBO. Discuss the meaning of staffing. Understand the meaning of recruitment and selection. 3.1 Meaning and definitions of organizing. Organization is the foundation upon which the whole organization is built. Without sufficient organization, no management can perform its functions smoothly. Sound organization contributes greatly to the continuity and the success of organization. 8. Poor organization structure makes good performance impossible, no matter how good the individuals are. The term organization connotes different things to different people. For example, to the sociologist, organization means the study of interactions of people, classes or hierarchy of an enterprise. To the psychologist, organization means an attempt to explain, predict and influence the behavior of individuals in an enterprise. The word registered trademark organization is also used widely to connote a group of people and the structure of relationships. In order to understand the meaning and characteristics of organization, we shall study it under the following heads. Chapter 3. 46/Management and Entrepreneurship. 1. Organization as a group of persons. 2. Organization as a structure of relationship. 3. Organization as a function of management. 4. Organization as a process. 1. Organization as a group of persons. Organization is viewed as a group of people contributing their efforts towards a certain goal. The concept of organizing began. That was the early stages of human civilization when two or more persons began to cooperate and combine together for fulfilling their basic needs of food, clothing, shelter and protection of life. Organization begins when people combine efforts for some common purpose. Chester I. Barnard defined organization degrees as an identifiable group of people contributing their efforts. An organization comes into existence when there are a number of persons in communication and relationship to each other and are willing to contribute towards a common endeavor. The group of people lay down rules and regulations and the formal structure or relationship among themselves plus minus. 2. Organization as a structure of relationships. Some people view organization as a structure of relationship. Organization sets up the scope of activities of the enterprise by laying down the structure of relationships. If organization is merely recognized as registered trademark structure, it will be viewed as a static thing used to explain formal relationships. But an organization is a registered trademark dynamic entity consisting of individuals, means, objectives and relationships among the individuals. However, the use of the term structure to denote organization is not used independently, but is combined with the term organization either in the form of organization structure or structure of organization. 3. Organization as a function of management. Organization is one of the basic functions of management. It involves determination and provision of various resources for the achievement of predetermined goals. Thus, organization is defined as a process of integrating and coordinating the efforts of human, financial and other resources for the accomplishment of certain objectives. Like registered trademark planning, organizing is also applied in every aspect of management. For example, organization is necessary for planning, development, for formulation of plans and policies. For organization as a process, organization is the process of establishing relationship among the members of the organization. Using this process, organization structure is created. The relationships are created in terms of authority and responsibility. Each person in the organization is assigned specific responsibility or duty to perform and is granted the corresponding authority to perform his duty. According to Louis E. Allen, degrees organization involves identification and grouping of activities to be performed and dividing them among the individuals and creating authority and responsibility relationship among them for the accomplishment of / 47. Organizational objectives. Organizing being process, consists of departmentalization, linking of departments, defining authority and responsibility and prescribing authority. Relationships. The organization structure is the result of this process. 3.2 Steps in organizing. While organizing, the manager differentiates and integrates the activities of his organization. By differentiation is meant the process of departmentalization or segmentation of activities on the basis of some homogeneity. Integration is the process of achieving unity of effort among various departments, segments or subsystems. Organization involves the following interrelated steps. 1. Consideration of objectives. The first step in organizing is to know the objectives of the enterprise. Objectives determine resources and the various activities which need to be performed and the type of organization which needs to be built for this purpose. Objectives also serve as guidelines for the management and workers. They bring about unity of direction in the organization. 2. Identification and grouping of activities. If the members of the group are to pool their efforts effectively, there must be proper division of the major activities. Each job should be properly classified and grouped. This will enable the people to know what is expected of them as members of the group and will help in avoiding duplication of efforts. For example, the total activities of an enterprise may be divided into major functions like production, purchasing, marketing, finance, etc., and such function is further subdivided into various jobs. For example, in production department separate sections may be created for research, industrial engineering, etc. The jobs then can be classified and grouped to ensure the effective implementation of other steps. 3. Assignment of duties. After classifying and grouping the activities into various jobs, they should be allotted to the individuals for ensuring certainty of work performance. Each individual should be given a specific job to do according to his ability and made responsible for that. For delegation of authority, authority without responsibility is dangerous and responsibility without authority is an empty vessel. Hence, corresponding to the responsibility, authority is delegated to the subordinates for enabling them to show work performance. 3.3 Nature of organization. The nature of organization can be highlighted by studying the following features. 1. Organization is always related to certain objectives, whether it is organization of the entire enterprise or part of it. Organization is influenced by objectives. The operations are divided, authorities and responsibility are determined to achieve predetermined objectives. 48/Management and entrepreneurship. To an organization connotes a group of people. MC Farland has defined organization as degrees an identifiable group of people contributing their efforts towards the attainment of goals. People form groups or organizations to accomplish common objectives and pool their efforts by defining and dividing various activities, responsibility and authority plus minus. 3. Communication is the nervous system of organization. The organizational members are able to communicate with each other and may coordinate their activities. No organization can survive without an efficient system of communication. For organizing is a basic function of management. Organizing is done in relation to all other functions of management, namely planning, staffing, directing and controlling, and in all the areas of business, namely production, marketing, purchasing, personnel. The organizing function is performed by all managers. 5. Organization is a continuous process. It is not a one-step function. Managers are continuously engaged in organizing and reorganizing. 6. Organization connotes a structure of relationship. The structure of relationship deliberately created by the management is referred to as formal organization. An organization may also have a network of social relationships that arise between people working together. Such relationships are known as informal organization. Informal organization, people are able to communicate with each other, are willing to act and share the purpose. In informal organization, people work together because of their likes and dislikes. 7. Organization involves a network of authority and responsibility relationship. Various positions are created, specific tasks are assigned to them to perform the task. Each position is delegated adequate authority. Authority and responsibility relationships throughout the organization must be clearly defined to achieve coordination and to avoid conflicts between individuals and departments. 3.4 Organization structure. An organization structure shows the authority and responsibility relationship between the various positions of the organization by showing who reports to whom. It is a set of planned relationships between groups of related functions and between physical factors and personnel required for the achievement of organizational goal. The structure of an organization is generally shown on the organization chart for a job task pyramid. It shows the authority and responsibility relationship between various positions in the organization. A good organization structure should not be static but dynamic. It should be subject to change from time to time in the light of changes in the business environment. / 49 3.5 Purpose of organization. Organization means a form of human association for the attainment of common objectives. An industrial organization denotes a type of associationship of persons in relationship to some economic activities. Obviously, the better the organization, the fuller would be the achievement of common objectives. Similarly, a loose organization implies an unhappy and dangerous state of affairs. Organization is essential for the following purposes. 1. To facilitate pattern of communication. Organization structure provide pattern of communication and coordination by grouping activities and people. Structure facilitates communication between people centered on their job activities. People who have joint problem often need to share information to solve the problem. 2. To allocate authority and responsibility. Organization structure allocates authority and responsibility. It specifies who is to direct whom and who is accountable for what results. The structure helps the organization members to know what his role is and how it relates to others' roles. 3. To locate decision centers. Organization structure determines the location of decision-making in the organization. For example, the departmental store may leave pricing decision to the lower level manager, while in oil refinery pricing decision is at top level. 4. To create proper balance. Organization structure creates the proper balance and emphasis of activities. Those more critical to the enterprise's success might be placed higher in the organization. For example, R&D in pharmaceutical company might be singled out for reporting to the managing director. Activity of comparable importance might be placed at the lower level. 5. To stimulate creativity. Sound organization stimulates independent, creative thinking and initiative by providing well-defined areas of work with broad attitude of the development of new and improved ways of doing things. 6. To encourage growth. The organization structure provide framework within which an enterprise functions. If the organization structure is flexible, it will help in meeting challenges and creating opportunities for growth. 7. To make use of technological improvements. The sound organization structure, which is adaptable to changes, can make the best possible use of latest technology. It can modify the existing pattern of authority responsibility relationships in the wake of technological improvements. 3.6 Principles of organization. In order to facilitate the achievement of objectives, management thinkers have laid down certain principles of organization. The principles are guidelines for planning organization. 50/management and entrepreneurship. Structure. Therefore, thorough understanding of the principles of organization is essential for good organization. The principles of organization are discussed below. 1. Objectives. The objectives of the enterprise influence the organization structure. Every part of the organization and organization as a whole should be geared to the basic objective determined by the enterprise. 2. Specialization. Effective organization must promote specialization. The activities of the enterprise should be divided according to functions and assigned to persons according to their specialization. 3. Span of control. The manager can directly supervise only a limited number of executives. Hence, it is necessary to have a proper number of subordinates answerable to a manager. The maximum of 6 may be prescribed for this purpose. For exception, this principle requires that organization structure should be so designed that managers are required to go through the exceptional matters only. All the routine decisions should be taken by subordinates, whereas problems involving unusual matters and policy decisions should be referred to higher levels. 5. Scalar principle. This is also known as chain of command. There must be clear lines of authority running from the top to the bottom. Authority is the right to decide, direct and coordinate. Every subordinate must know who his superior is and to whom policy matters beyond his own authority must be referred for decision. 6. Unity of command. Each subordinate should have only one supervisor whose command he is to obey. Dual subordination must be avoided, for it causes uneasiness, disorder, and indiscipline and undermine of authority. 7. Delegation. Proper authority should be delegated at the lower levels of the organization also. The authority delegated must be equal to responsibility, i.e., the manager should have enough authority to accomplish the task assigned to him. 8. Responsibility. A superior should be held responsible for the acts of his subordinates. No superior should be allowed to avoid responsibility by delegating authority to his subordinates. 9. Authority. The authority is the tool by which a manager is able to accomplish the desired objective. Hence, the authority of each manager must be clearly defined. The authority and responsibility must be coextensive in the organization. 10. Efficiency. The organization should be able to attain the mission and objectives at a minimum cost. 11. Simplicity. The organization structure should be as simple as possible with minimum number of levels. A large number of levels of organization means difficulty of effective communication and coordination. /51. 12. Flexibility. The organization should be flexible, should be adaptable to changing circumstances. It should permit expansion and replacement without dislocation and disruption of the basic design. The sound organization must avoid complicated procedures, red tape and excessive complication of control so that it may adapt itself easily and economically to business and technical changes. 13. Balance. There should be reasonable balance in the size of various departments. Between centralization and decentralization, there must be balance in the formal structure as regards two factors having conflicting claims. 14. Unity of direction. There must be one objective and one plan for a group of activities having the same objective. Unity of direction facilitates unification and coordination of activities at various levels. 15. Personal abilities. As organization is a formal group of people, there is need for proper selection, placement and training. Organization structure must ensure optimum use of human resources. 3.7 BEPARTMENTAVION. The horizontal differentiation of tasks or activities into discrete segments is called as departmentalization or departmentation. Departmentation involves grouping of operating tasks into jobs, combining of jobs into effective work group and combining of groups into divisions often termed as registered trademark departments. The aim is to take advantages of division of labor and specialization up to a certain limit. There are several ways of departmentation, each of which is suitable for particular corporate sizes, strategies and purposes. The important methods of grouping activities may be summarized as below. Departmentation by functions. This is the simplest and most commonly used base for departmentation. Each major function of the enterprise is grouped into a department. For example, there may be production, finance, marketing and personnel department in an organization as shown in Fig. 3.1. All functions related to production are grouped together to form production department. Similarly, other departments are formed on the basis of function. Board of Directors, Managing Director, Production Manager, Marketing Manager, Finance Manager, Personnel Manager. Figure 3.1. Departmentation by functions. 50//management and entrepreneurship. Advantages. 1. It is simple and suitable for small organization which manufactures limited number of products. 2. It promotes specialization. 3. It leads to improved planning and control. 4. Manpower and other resources of the company are effectively used. Drawbacks. 1. It fosters sub-goal loyalty. Department goal becomes important than organizational goal, resulting into interdepartmental conflicts. 2. Difficult to set up specific accountability and profit centers within functional departments, with the result that performance cannot be accurately measured. Departmentation by product. The grouping of activity on the basis of product or product lines is followed in multi-lines large-scale organizations. All activities related to a particular product line may be grouped together under the direction of a semi-autonomous division manager as shown in Figure 3.2. Advantages: 1. It focuses individual attention on each product line. 2. It leads to specialization of physical facilities on the basis of product, which results in economy. 3. It is easier to evaluate and compare the performance of various product division, for it keeps problems with production isolated from others. Board of Directors, Chief Executives, Production Manager, Marketing Manager, Finance Manager, Personnel Manager. Product A, Product B, Product C. Figure 3.2. Departmentation by product. Departmentation by customers. This is used in the enterprises engaged in providing specialized services to different classes of customers. Management groups the activities /53 on the basis of customers to cater to the requirements of clearly defined customer groups. For example, an automobile service company may organize its departments as Heavy Vehicles Servicing Division, Car Servicing Division and Scooter Servicing Division. Similarly, an educational institute may have departments for regular courses, evening and corresponding courses, etc. Departmentation by territory. Under this classification, the market area is broken up into sales territories and a responsible executive is put in charge of each territory. The territory may be known as district, division or region. The field salesmen under respective regions report to their corresponding sales supervisors, if any, who are reporting to their respective regional managers. The Figure 3.3 is quite illuminating in this connection. Sales Manager, Manager Northern Region, Manager Eastern Region, Manager Southern Region, Manager Western Region. Figure 3.3. Departmentation by territory. Departmentation by process. Departmentation here is done on the basis of several discrete process or technologies involved in the manufacture of a product. For example, a vegetable oil company may have separate departments for crushing, refining and finishing. The textile mill may have departments for ginning, spinning, weaving and dyeing. The work that would otherwise be done in several different locations in an enterprise is done in one place because of special equipments used. Learning Activity 3.1. Identify various departments of your institute and find on what basis the departments are created. 3.8 Types of organization. According to Kimball and Kimball Degrees, the problem of an organization is to select and combine the efforts of men of proper characteristics so as to produce the desired results. Plus minus. Nature, scale and size of the business are the normal factors which determine forms of internal organization. The following common types of organization find a place in the structure of internal organization. Line, military or scalar organization. Line organization is the simple and oldest type of organization and is also known as scalar or military organization. The line organization represents the structure in a direct 54/management and entrepreneurship vertical relationship through which authority flows. The line of authority, see Figure 3.4, flows vertically downward from top to bottom throughout the organization. The quantum of authority is highest at the top and reduces at each successive level. Under line organization, each department is generally a complete self-contained unit. A separate person will look after the activity of the department and has full control over the department. The superior communicates his decision and orders to his subordinates. The subordinates, in turn, can communicate them to those who are immediately under them. This type of organization is followed in military. The advantages of line organization are 1. Simplicity, 2. Quick decision and speed of action, 3. Unity of control, 4. Clear division of authority and responsibility, 5. Discipline and better coordination, 6. Direct communication. Disadvantages: 1. The organization is rigid and inflexible. 2. Being an autocratic system, managers may become dictators and not leaders. 3. There is scope of favorism and nepotism, for red tape and bureaucracy. 5. Lack of specialization. General manager. General manager. production manager, finance manager, marketing manager, superintendent, assistant finance manager, assistant marketing manager, foreman, accountant, sales supervisor, workers, clerks, salesman. Figure 3.4, line organization, / 55, functional organization. The line organization does not provide specialists in the structure. Many jobs require specialized knowledge to perform them. In functional organization, the specialists are made available in the top positions throughout the enterprise. It confers upon the holder of a functional position a limited power of command over the people of various departments concerning their function. Functional authority remains confined to functional guidance of different department. Under functional organization, various activities of the enterprise are classified according to certain functions like production, marketing, finance, personnel, etc., and are put under the charge of functional specialists as shown in Fig. 3.5. A functional in charge directs the subordinates throughout the organization in his particular area of business operation. That means that subordinates receives orders and instructions not from one superior but from several functional specialists. General manager, production director, finance director, general manager, division Y, marketing director, personnel director, general manager, division X, general manager, division Z, line authority, functional authority. Figure 3.5, functional organization. The advantages of functional organization. 1. Specialization. 2. Reduces the burden on the top executives. 3. Offers greater scope for expansion. 4. A functional manager is required to have expertise in one function only. This makes it easy for executive development. Disadvantages. 1. Violates principles of unity of command. 2. The operation of functional organization is too complicated. 56 / management and entrepreneurship. 3. It develops specialists rather than generalists. For lack of coordination among functional executives which delays decision making. Line and staff organization. In order to reap the advantages of both line organization and functional organization, a new type of organization is developed, i.e., line and staff organization. In line and staff organization, the line authority remains the same as it does in the line organization. Authority flows from top to bottom. In addition, the specialists are attached to line managers to advise them on important matters. These specialists stand ready with their speciality to serve linemen as and when their services are called for, to collect information and to give help which will enable the line officials to carry out their activity better. The staff officials do not have any power of command in the organization, as they are employed to provide expert advice to the line manager. In most of the organization, staff investigates and supplies information and recommendations to managers who takes decisions. Specialized staff positions are created to give counsel and assistance in each specialized field of effort as shown in Figure 3.6. Board of Directors. Manager. Division B. Manager. Division A. Manager. Division C. Managing Director. Controller of Finance. Staff. Executive Committee. Staff. Figure 3.6, Line and Staff Organization. Advantages. 1. Specialized knowledge. 2. Reduction of burden on line managers. 3. Better decisions, as staff specialists help the line managers. 4. Unity of command. 5. Flexible when compared to functional organization. Disadvantages. 1. Allocation of duties between line and staff is not clear. 2. There is generally conflict between line and staff executives. / 57. 3. Since staff is not accountable, they may not be performing well. 4. Difference between orientations of line and staff. Line executive S deals with in problem in a more practical manner, while staff tend to be more theoretical. Committee organization. A committee is a body of persons appointed or elected to meet on an organized basis for the consideration of matters brought before it. Degrees. A committee is a group of persons performing a group task with the object of solving certain problems plus minus. The area of operation of a committee is determined by its constitution. A committee may formulate plans, review the performance of certain units, or may only have the power to make recommendation. Committees help in taking corrective decisions, coordinating the affairs of different departments, and meeting communication requirements in the organization. Committees can be broadly classified into advisory committees and executive committees. Advisory committees have only a recommender's role and cannot enforce implementation of their advice or recommendation. The examples of advisory committees are works committees, finance committees, etc. Whenever committees are vested with line authority, they are called as executive committees. Unlike advisory committee, executive committees not only take decisions but also enforce decisions, and thus perform the double role of taking decision and ordering its executive. The board of directors of a company is an example of an executive committee. Advantages of committees. 1. Committees provide a forum for the pooling of knowledge and experience of many persons of different skills, ages and backgrounds. 2. Committees are excellent means of transmitting information and ideas both upward and downward. 3. Committees are impersonal in action, and hence their decisions are generally unbiased and are based on facts. For when departmental heads are members of committee, people get an opportunity to understand each other's problems and hence improve coordination. Weaknesses of committees. 1. In case a wrong decision is taken by committee, no one is held responsible, which may result in responsibility among members. 2. Committees delay action. 3. Committees are expensive form of organization, for decisions are generally arrived at on the basis of compromise and hence they are not best decisions. 5. As committee consists of large number of persons, it is difficult to maintain secrecy. 58/Management and Entrepreneurship. 3.9 Span of control. The span of control indicates the number of subordinates who can't be successfully directed by a supervisor. It is often referred to as span of management, span of supervision, span of authority. Span of management is important because of 2 reasons. First is span of management affects the efficient utilization of managers and the effective performance of the subordinates. If the span is too wide, managers are overburdened, and subordinates receive little guidance. If the span of management is too narrow, the managers are underutilized and subordinates are over-controlled. The second reason is there is relationship between span of management and organization structure. 8. Narrow span results in tall organization with many levels of supervision between top management and lowest organizational levels, which creates more communication and cost problems. On the other hand, the wide span for the same number of employees results in flat organization with fewer management levels between top and bottom. Suppose a sales manager has 12 salesmen reporting to him, his span of management is 12. If he feels that he is not able to work closely enough with each salesman and decides to reduce the span by adding 3 assistant managers each to supervise 4 salesmen, then his span of management is 3 as shown in figure 3.7. In doing so, he has added a level of management through which communication between him and salesmen must pass, and he has added the cost of 3 additional managers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sales manager, salesman, sales manager, assistant sales manager, assistant sales manager, assistant sales manager. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure 3.7. Decrease in span of control increases the number of levels. / 59. Management experts suggest that the ideal number of subordinates is 4 in case of higher level management and 8 to 12 in case of lower level management. Factors affecting the span of management. The following are some of the factors which influence the span of management. 1. Ability of the manager. Some managers are more capable than others and hence can handle a large number of subordinates. 2. Ability of the employees. If employees are more competent, less attention from the managers is required and a larger span of management can be used. 3. Type of work. If employees are doing similar jobs, the span of management can be large. If their jobs are quite different, a small span may be necessary. For geographic location, if all subordinates are located at the same place, span of management can be large. If subordinates are geographically distributed. 8. Lower span is essential. 5. Well-defined authority and responsibility. Clear-cut authority and responsibility helps a manager to supervise a large number of subordinates. 6. Level of management. The span of management is narrow at higher level of management, and span can be wider at lower levels. 7. Economic considerations. Narrow the span. Taller is the structure is more is the cost. On the other hand, wider span reduces the number of levels and cost. Learning activity 3.2. Visit a government department and find the span of control at each level of the organization. 3.10 Authority, power and responsibility. In all organized efforts, managers actually do not perform the jobs, they simply get the things done by others. It means that the manager should have some right by which they get the things done. This registered trademark right is technically known as what we call registered trademark authority, which every manager must have to perform his function effectively. Without authority, the manager cannot function. Authority is a legal or rightful power, a right to command or to act. According to Henry Theo Heldegrees, authority is the right to order or command and is delegated from the superior to the subordinate to discharge his responsibilities. The authority may be exercised through persuasions or sanctions. If the subordinate does not obey, the superior has right to take disciplinary action. The power may be defined as the capacity or ability to influence the behavior of other individuals. If a person has a power, it means that he is able to influence the behavior of others. The essence of power is control over the behavior of others. The difference between authority and power are given in Table 3.1. 60/Management and Entrepreneurship. Table 3.1. Difference between authority and power. Authority power. 1. It is the institutionalized right of it is ability of a person to influence others. Superior to command and compel his subordinates to perform a certain act. 2. It rests in the position it rests in the individual. 3. It is delegated to an individual by it is earned by individual. His superior. 4. It is well defined it is undefined and infinite. 5. It is what exists in the eye of law. It is what exists in fact. It is a de facto concept. Just an authority is the right of a superior to issue commands. Responsibility is the obligation of a subordinate to obey those commands. Responsibility is defined as the obligation of a subordinate, to whom the duty has been assigned, to perform the duty. The essence of responsibility is then obligation. Responsibility arises from a superior-subordinate relationship, from the fact that someone has the authority to require specified service from another person. Responsibility may be specific or continuing. It is specific when on being discharged by a subordinate, it does not arise again. Thus, a consultant's responsibility is specific, which ceases when the assignment is completed. The responsibility of a foreman is, however, continuing nature. Responsibility cannot be delegated or transferred. The superior can delegate to a subordinate the authority to perform and accomplish a specific job, but he cannot delegate responsibility. Responsibility is divided into two parts, namely operating responsibility and ultimate responsibility. The subordinate assumes only operating responsibility and superior retains ultimate responsibility. If the subordinate fails to perform the job operating responsibilities, the superior is held responsible for this failure. Ultimate responsibility. 3.11 Delegation of authority. The manager in an enterprise cannot do all the tasks necessary for the accomplishment of group goals. His capacity to do the work and to take decisions is limited. He therefore assigns same part of his work to his subordinates and grants them necessary authority to make decisions within the area of their assigned duties. This downward pushing of authority to make decisions is known as delegation of authority. According to Lewis, Gallant agrees if the manager requires his subordinate to perform the work, he must entrust him with part of the rights and powers which he otherwise would have to exercise himself to get that work done plus minus. By delegating authority, the manager does not surrender his authority or give this authority away. The delegating manager always retains the //61 overall authority which was assigned to him to perform his functions. It is something Like imparting knowledge. Teacher shares knowledge with student who then possess the knowledge, but still the teacher retains the knowledge. The following are the advantages of delegation of authority. 1. It relieves the manager of his heavy workload. 2. It leads to better decisions. This is because the subordinates are closest to the situation and have the best view of the facts, are in better positions to make decision. 3. It speeds up decision making. 4. It helps to train the subordinates and builds morale. 5. It helps to create formal organization structure. 3.12 Centralization and decentralization. Centralization refers to systematic reservation of authority at central points within the organization. Centralization means retention or concentration of managerial authority in few key managerial positions at the nerve center of an organization, i.e., at the top level. Everything that goes to reduce the subordinate's role in decision-making is centralization. Decentralization means dispersal of decision-making power to lower levels of the organization. In decentralized setup, ultimate authority to command and ultimate responsibility for the results is localized as far down in the organization. According to Gallant degrees, decentralization refers to the systematic effort to delegate to the lower levels all authority except that which can only be exercised at central points plus minus. In decentralized setup, large number of important decisions in large number of areas are made, consulting few people. In the words of Henry Theodel, degrees, everything that goes to increase the importance of subordinates' role is decentralization and everything that reduces it is centralization plus minus. The following are the advantages in decentralization. 1. It eases the burden of top-level managers. 2. Decentralization permits quicker and better decision-making. 3. With decentralization, capable managers can be developed. 4. Promotes participation in decision-making and improves morale and motivation. 5. Decentralization facilitates diversification of products. Disadvantages of decentralization. 1. It increases administrative expenses. 2. It may create problems in bringing coordination among various units. 3. It may bring about inconsistencies in the company, because uniform procedures may not be followed for the same type of work in various divisions. 62/Management and Entrepreneurship. Learning Activity 3.3. Visit the State Road Transportation Corporation office of your city and find the degree of decentralization. 3.13 Delegation versus decentralization. Delegation and decentralization are not same. The differences between them are given below. 1. Delegation is a process while decentralization is the end result of a deliberate policy of making delegation widespread in the organization. 2. Delegation takes place between a superior and a subordinate while decentralization is company-wide delegation as between top management and the departments or division of the organization. 3. In delegation, delegator exercises supervision and control over the delegate, while in decentralization, top management exercises broad minimum control. 3.1 For management by objectives. MBO. Management by objectives or results is an important practice for accomplishing the objectives of an enterprise in an effective way. The concept of MBO was introduced by Peter Drucker and later developed by various experts like John Humble, Dale and George Ordeome. In recent years, MBO has become philosophy of managing in many enterprises and is recognized as most dynamic and exciting in the area of management. John Humble defined managing by objectives as a dynamic system which integrates the company's need to achieve its goals for profit and growth with manager's need to contribute and develop himself. In the words of George F. Ordeome, the system of MBO can't be described as a process whereby the superior and subordinate managers of an organization jointly identify its common goals, define each individual's major areas of responsibility in terms of results expected of him, and use these measures as guides for operating the unit and assessing the contribution of each of its members. He also stressed that MBO is not a set of rules, a series of procedures or methods, but it is a way of thinking about management. Management by objectives calls for regulating the process of managing in terms of meaningful, specific and variable objectives at different levels of management hierarchy. MBO molds planning, directing and controlling in a number of ways. It stimulates meaningful action of better performance and higher accomplishment. It is closely associated with the concept of decentralization because decentralization cannot work without the support of management by objectives. Features of MBO. 1. An attempt is made by the management to integrate the goals of an organization and individuals. This will lead to effective management. //63. 2. MBO emphasize not only on goals but also on effective performance. 3. It pays constant attention to refining, modifying and improving the goals and changing the approaches to achieve the goals on the basis of experience. 4. It increases organizational capability of achieving goals at all levels. 5. A high degree of motivation and satisfaction is available to employees through MBO. 6. Recognizes the participation of employees in goal-setting process. 7. Aims at replacing the exercise of authority with consultation. 8. Encourages a climate of trust, goodwill and a will to perform. Steps in management by objectives. The following steps are involved in MBO. 1. Setting of organizational objectives. The first step in MBO is defining organizational objectives. The definition of organizational objectives states why the business is started and exists. Long-term objectives followed by short-term objectives are framed taking into account the feasibility of achieving them. The objectives are framed on the basis of availability of resources. 2. Setting departmental objectives. Objectives for each department, division and section are framed on the basis of overall objectives of the organization. Period. Within which these objectives should be achieved is also fixed. Goals or objectives are expressed in a meaningful manner. 3. Fixing key result areas. Key result areas are fixed on the basis of organizational objectives premises. Key result areas are arranged on the basis of priority. Key result areas indicate the strength of an organization. The examples of key result areas are profitability, market standing, innovation, etc. For setting subordinate objectives or targets, departmental objectives are then set by departmental managers and get them approved by the top management. This process of setting the objectives is repeated at the lower levels of management. At each level, objectives are set in verifiable units so that performance of every department and individual may be reviewed after the end of a particular period. 5. Appraisal of activities. In this step, superiors periodically review the progress, and the subordinate's performance is evaluated against the specified standards, and initiates corrective action. The superior should identify the reasons for failure of achieving objectives and should tackle such problems. 6. Reappraisal of objectives. An organization has to operate in a dynamic world, so the top management should review the organization's objectives to frame the objectives according to the changing condition. 64//Management and Entrepreneurship. Benefits of MBO. The following are the benefits of MBO. 1. Managers are involved in objectives setting at various levels of management under MBO, and this commitment ensures hard work to achieve them. 2. MBO process helps the managers to understand their role in the total organization. 3. MBO provides a foundation for participative management. Subordinates are also involved in goal setting, for a department does not work at cross-purpose with another department. In other words, each department's objectives are consistent with the objectives of the whole organization. 5. Systematic evaluation of performance is made with the help of MBO. 6. MBO gives the criteria of performance. It helps to take corrective action. 7. MBO motivates the workers by job enrichment and makes the jobs meaningful. 8. The responsibility of a worker is fixed through MBO. 3.15 Meaning of staffing. Earlier staffing was considered to be a part of organization function of management. It is now recognized as a separate management function. The reason for separating the staffing from organizing is to give proper emphasis to the actual meaning of managerial roles. Today the staffing function has assumed greater importance because of rapid advancement of technology, increasing the size of the organization and complex behavior of human beings. The enterprise has to give due importance to human resource planning. It is the tendency in modern enterprises to create a separate department. It is for this purpose medium and large organizations have separate departments known as personnel department or human resource department to perform staffing function. The organization structure spells out various positions of the organization. Filling and keeping these positions with right people is the staffing phase of the management function. Staffing involves the determination of manpower requirements of the enterprise and providing it with adequate competent people at all levels. The staffing function performs the following sub-functions. 1. Manpower planning. 2. Recruitment. 3. Selection of the best qualified from those who seek job. 4. Training and development. 5. Performance appraisal and compensation. / 65. 3.16 Nature and importance of staffing. The staffing function has assumed greater significance these days because of various factors. Staffing is also a pervasive function. Through separate departments exist for this, yet every manager is engaged in performing the staffing function when they participate in selection, training and evaluating their subordinates. The various reasons which have increased the significance of staffing functions are discussed below. 1. Increasing size of organization. Advancement in science and technology has given rise to large-scale companies employing thousands of employees. The performance of the company depends on the quality and character of the people. This has increased the importance of staffing. To advancement of technology, in order to make use of latest technology, the appointment of right type of persons is necessary. 3. Long-range needs of manpower. In some industries, labor turnover is high. The management is required to determine the manpower requirement well in advance. Management has also to develop the existing personnel for future promotion. A role of staffing has also increased because of shortage of good managerial talents. For recognition of human relations, the behavior of individuals has become very complicated and hence human aspect of organization has become very important. Employees are to be motivated by financial and non-financial incentives. Right kind of atmosphere should also be created to contribute to the achievement of organizational objectives. By performing the staffing function, management can show the significance it attaches to the manpower working in the enterprise. 3.17 Recruitment. Recruitment is the process of identifying the sources for prospective candidates and to stimulate them to apply for the jobs. It is a linking activity that brings together those offering jobs and those seeking jobs. Recruitment refers to the attempt of getting interested applicants and providing a pool of prospective employees so that the management can select the right person for the right job from this pool. The various sources of recruitment are divided into 2 categories. 1. Internal sources. 2. External sources. Internal sources involve transfer and promotion. Transfer involves the shifting of an employee from one job to another. Many companies follow the practice of filling higher jobs by promoting employees who are considered fit for such positions. Filling higher positions by promotion motivates employees, boosts employees' morale. 66 / Management and Entrepreneurship. External sources. 1. Direct recruitment. An important source of recruitment is direct recruitment. By placing the notice on the notice board of the enterprise by specifying the details of the jobs available. This is also known as recruitment at factory gate. 2. Unsolicited applications. Many qualified persons apply for employment to reputed companies on their own initiative. Such applications are known as unsolicited applications. 3. Advertising. Large enterprises, particularly when the vacancy is for higher post, or there are large number of applications, use this source where advertisements are made in local and national level newspapers. This helps in informing the candidates spread over different parts of the country. The advertisement contains information about the company, job description, and job specialization, etc. For employment agencies, this is the good source of recruitment for unskilled and semi-skilled jobs. In some cases, compulsory notification of vacancies of employment exchange is required by the law. The employment exchanges bring job givers in contact with job seekers. 5. Educational institutions. Many jobs in business and industries have become increasingly varied and complex, which need a degree in that particular area. That is why many big organizations maintain a close liaison with the colleges, vocational institutes and management institutions for recruitment to various jobs. 6. Labor contractor. Often unskilled and semi-skilled workers are recruited through labor contractors. 7. Recommendations. Applicants introduced by friends, relatives and employees of the organization may prove to be a good source of recruitment. Many employers prefer to take such persons because something about their background is known. 3.1 Date selection. The process of selection leads to employment of persons having the ability and qualifications to perform the jobs which have fallen vacant in an organization. It divides the candidates into two categories: those who will be offered employment and those who will not be. The basic purpose of the selection process is choosing right type of candidates to man various positions in the organization. In order to achieve this purpose, a well-organized selection procedure involves many steps, and at each step more and more information is obtained about the candidates. The steps involved in selection procedure are discussed below. /67 1. Receipt of applications. Whenever there is vacancy, it is advertised or inquiries are made from suitable sources and applications in standard form are received from the candidates. The applications give preliminary idea of the candidates, like age, qualified, cations, experience, etc. Standard forms make the application processing very easy. 2. Screening of applications. Applications received from the candidates are screened by the screening committee and a list of candidates to be interviewed is prepared. Applicants can be called for interviews on some specific criterion, like sex, desired age group, experience and qualification. The number of candidates to be called for interview is 5 to 7 times the number of vacant positions to be filled. 3. Employment tests. Employment tests help in matching the characteristics of individuals with the vacant jobs so as to employ the right kind of people. Intelligence tests, aptitude tests, proficiency tests, personality tests, interest tests, etc. may be used for this purpose. For interviews, the employment tests do not provide a complete set of information about the candidate. Interview may be used to secure more information about the candidate. The main purpose of interview is to find out the suitability of the candidate, to seek more information about the candidate, to give an accurate picture of the job with details of terms and conditions. In addition, interview help to check the information given by the applicant in the application and to assess the capability and personality of the applicant. For senior positions, interviews may be in several stages. The preliminary interview is conducted by head of the department and the final interview is conducted by the selection committee consisting of chairman of the organization, head of the department, personnel manager and outside experts. After all the candidates have been interviewed, the panel is proposed. The number of persons in the panel is generally about 2 to 3 times the number of vacancies to be filled up. Background investigation and medical examination. Prior to final selection, the prospective employer normally makes an investigation about applicants' past employment, education, personal reputation, police record, etc. Medical and physical examination has 3 objectives. 1. It serves to ascertain applicant's capabilities to meet the job requirement. 2. It serves to protect organization against the unwarranted claims under workman compensation. 3. It helps to prevent communicable diseases entering the organization. The proper medical examination will ensure standards of health and physical fitness of the employees and reduce the rates of accidents, labor turnover and absenteeism. Final selection. After a candidate has cleared all the hurdles in the selection procedure, he is formally appointed by issuing him an appointment letter or by 68//management and entrepreneurship, concluding with him the service agreement. The appointment letter contains the terms and conditions of employment, pay scale and other benefits associated with the job. Learning Activity 3.4. Identify the steps involved in selection process of your institution. Chapter Summary. Organization involves identification and grouping of activities to be performed and dividing them among individuals and creating authority and responsibility relationship. among them for the accomplishment of organizational objectives. An organization structure shows the authority and responsibility relationship between the various positions in the organization. In order to facilitate the achievement of objectives, management thinkers have laid down certain principles of organization which provide guidelines for planning organization structure. The horizontal differentiation of tasks into discrete segments is known as departmentation. There are various methods of departmentation, namely departmentation by functions, departmentation by products, departmentation by process, departmentation by customers, and departmentation by territories. Different types of organization are line organization, functional organization, and line, staff organization, and committee organization. The span of control indicates the number of subordinates who can't be successfully directed by a superior. The ability of manager, ability of employee, type of work, geographical location, and level of management affects the span of control. The authority is the institutionalized right of a superior to command and compel the subordinates to perform a certain act. The power is defined as the capacity or the ability of an individual to influence the behavior of others. The downward pushing of authority to subordinates to make decisions is known as delegation of authority. Centralization refers to systematic reservation of authority at few key managerial positions. Decentralization means the disposal of decision-making power to the lower level of organization. MBO is defined as dynamic system which integrates the company's need to achieve its goals for profit and growth with which managers need to contribute and develop himself. Filling and keeping various positions of organization with right people is known as staffing. The staffing function performs many sub-functions, namely manpower planning, recruitment, selection, training and development, performance appraisal, and compensation. Recruitment is the process of identifying the sources of prospective candidates and to stimulate them to apply for the jobs. The sources of recruitment are divided into internal and external sources. The basic purpose of selection process is choosing right type of candidates to man various positions in the organization. / 69 Questions. 1. Explain in brief the meaning of organizing. 2. Discuss the steps involved in organizing. 3. Explain in brief the nature of organization. 4. Discuss the purpose of organization. 5. Write a note on principles of organization. 6. Explain in brief the various types of departmentation. 7. Explain the following with its merits and demerits. A. Line organization. B. Functional organization. C. Line and staff organization. D. Committee organization. 8. What do you mean by span of control? Explain the factors affecting span of it. 9. Distinguish between A. Authority and responsibility. B. Delegation and decentralization. 10. Authority can be delegated but not responsibility. Comment on this statement. 11. Explain in brief the centralization and decentralization. 12. Write a note on management by objectives. 13. Explain the features of MBO. 14. Explain in brief the steps involved in MBO. 15. Write a note on benefits of MBO. 16. Explain in brief the nature and importance of staffing. 17. Explain various sources of recruitment. 18. Explain the steps involved in selection process.